So nice just watching Kemba these last couple games. It's been so nice to watch him with other really major heavy hitter offensive threats on the floor. It's what was missing, all those playoff runs that he had in Charlotte. Not that there were that many, but the ones that he had. And it's just nice to see a little less defensive pressure on him and him able to show all the parts of his game. Wish him so much success. All right, I want to keep the focus on this series because we promised we were going to talk about how good Marcus Smart is. Marcus Smart is really good. He took control of this game, scoring 16 points, a dazzling 3-minute stretch early in the fourth. He made 5 3-pointers, turning the last of those into a 4-point play in the Celtics win. Afterward, Brad Stevens said, Marcus has been a leader since he got here. I've said it many times. We've been in the playoffs every year since he's been here, and that is not a coincidence. Brian, do you think Smart is ultimately going to be the difference in this series?
Well, one of the reasons he's a difference is not just because of his play, but who he's making up for, which is the loss of Gordon Hayward. And the Raptors are one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best defenses in the bubble. Scoring was going to be an issue for the Celtics in this series, especially without Hayward. And Marcus has made up for that. Not only has he been terrific in putting the points on the board, but he has undercut the way the Raptors want to play defense because they don't want to guard him, Rachel. But because he's hitting these threes, it's stretching their defense and giving lanes for other guys. His play has been, without question, the definition of a difference maker so far.
And it's not just Gordon Hayward. It's also when you have a team that is dominated by guard play, and sometimes you don't get as much production from the bigs, even though Robin Williams gives you good productions per minute, which we learned on the broadcast, which is awesome. Daniel Tice is there. I think it's really key for them. He's the type of player that you want to play with. He's the type of player that will make the play that shifts outcomes in moments like this. Like you said, Rachel, 5 threes in 3 minutes late. You know, before we thought it was probably the Raptors that stole the momentum and would run away with it. And you have a player that can sort of not be accounted for on the scouting report, not be accounted for, you know, from the offensive schemes that can give you that boost. And the boost is not something you can necessarily predict all the time, but it's a boost that will change the outcome for your team, the Celtics. Because now I feel like if they connect on all cylinders, they can make it all the way to the finals.
Ooh. All right, I'm just going to leave that take there for a minute. I would add, by the way, that Marcus Smart is the kind of player that I think all 29 other teams would be thrilled to have on their club. And I would normally say that about Pascal Siakam too, right? But yesterday, Spicy P, not so spicy, struggled to make an impact late. Had that turnover where he stepped out of bounds. Sinead, why haven't we seen peak Siakam against the Celtics?
So this is a thing, you know, coming into the bubble after having 4 months or so off. It affects people different ways. We've seen some people be able to step up and play. We've seen some people sort of struggle. And Pascal Siakam, for the most part, is a real rhythm player. He's a flow player. He gets the ball in transition and sort of catches his rhythm. But also, he plays in the flow of his team. And so with the stoppage of play, it affects people very differently. I know his percentages have gone from about, like 46% shooting the ball to now like 39%. But it's not just Pascal. You know, I think the Raptors, they could really help by making shots, period. I think he was 1 for 4 from 3 yesterday. Kyle Lowry was 0 for 7 from 3. Van Fleet was 3 for 12 from 3. So making shots will take some of the pressure off of Pascal so he can play his game in transition. And just sort of when people don't understand or expect he's going to make a move, that's when Pascal gets his bucket. So the pressure's on everyone, but especially Spicy P.
I don't disregard anything you just said, but I also think it's a difference between being a number 1 and a number 2. And I think he's probably a number 2. And when you are now the